Hi there vegan freaks, it's Dino and I'm here with another podcast fresh for the new year. Now I decided that I'd finally show you a little bit more of a cooking based segment than the more generalized stuff I've been showing so far. So today we're going to make bajji. Now as much as I wish I could have taken you into the kitchen with me to show you how everything works and go through the mechanics, unfortunately the lighting there makes it impossible to show you anything. So I brought everything out here to the front and where the lighting is good enough that you can see me. Now I'm going to do this in a really big bowl. It's about that big. Of course the bowl is not full. There's no way I could possibly make that much food for just 2 people, so I'm going to show you inside the bowl once I get it to the stage that you need it. Now what I have in here are about 2 cups of flour and the spices that I like to have in my batter fried potatoes. You can use whatever spices you want, or you can use the ones that are in the cookbook. Both are equally fine, because in the end what you're looking for is kind of like a creamy texture on the inside of the potatoes and the crispy texture with the flour and the batter on the outside when you fry it. Now I'm starting off with 2 cups of flour, and I've already whisked in the spices, and I have here 1 cup of water that I'm going to add gradually and whisk in. I'm not going to completely add the entire amount because I don't know exactly how much I need, so I'm going to have to finagle this a little bit. So here goes about like 3/4 of that at the same time, and I'm going to start whisking and it'll start coming together slowly but surely. Now the stuff in the bowl, let me show you right now, has turned into what looks like a bread dough. It's become really thick and kind of heavy, and that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for a smooth batter that's a little bit around the consistency of pancake batter. So I'm going to add the rest of the cup of water in there. See how far this takes me. So far still no good. It's still, really thick, really heavy. Still not doing much good. So then I'm going to start adding the 2nd cup of water, not the entire amount, just about maybe half or so. And to clear out the whisk, I'm just going to kind of bash it around in there. And now I can start slowly seeing the batter form. It's still not there, of course. It's still a little bit too thick, but let me show you how it is right now with about 1.5 cups of water, and you'll see what I'm talking about. There you go. It's still a little bit too thick. It's about the consistency right now of a cake batter. And again, that's not what you're looking for. You're looking for roughly a pancake batter. So let me try that one more time. I'm going to add in another about 1/4 cup of water at this point. It's not quite a 1/4 cup. There we go. And mix that all the way through. Now at this stage, once it becomes that cake batter consistency, you want to be really careful with how much water you add, because if you add too much, then you're going to end up with too thin of a batter, and then you're going to have to start adjusting with flour and then the spices, and then you have to go back and forth. And rather than getting into all that drama, it's best if you're a little bit careful. So now for this batch, with the current level of humidity and all of the things considered, we have about 1 3/4 of a cup of water to the 2 cups of flour. And now here is the stuff in the bowl. If you run your whisk through it, it doesn't stay together very well. It's a loose kind of pancakey type of batter, and that's exactly what we're going for in terms of the batter for the bajji. So let me go get the potatoes, and I'll show you how this entire thing works. Alright, now we're back here in my kitchen, and I'm going to go over a couple of things. First and foremost, you want to be using a spoon of some sort with holes in it, so that when you get the hot stuff out of the oil, it drains off some of the oil. Second thing is, I'm using a wok. You can use any high-sided pot of your choosing. Filled it up with about 1 liter of water, and I heated it up over medium-high heat while I was prepping the batter and the potatoes and all the rest of them. I have my potatoes sliced to even thickness there. I'm going to say about 1/4 inch thick, maybe 1/2 centimeter thereabouts. You don't want them very thick at all. You want them on the thin side, but you don't want them so thin that they become potato crisps. So anyway, here's how this works. What I do is that I get a slice of potato and I get my batter here, and I dip the potato in there all the way. I pull it out a bit, shake off some of that excess, and then drop it into the hot bath. Now, if the potato goes into there and it sinks to the bottom and it stays on the bottom, you know that your oil is not hot enough and you're going to end up with soggy, disgusting, over-oil-logged bajji. Whereas what mine just did was that when I finished dipping it in the batter, and I shake off some of that excess, and then I slide it into the oil. Yeah, be very careful with hot fat. You don't want to burn yourself. When I slide it into the oil, it goes down to the bottom for a couple of seconds, and then it rises right up to the top almost immediately. So I know I have my temperature just about right. And finally, when you're draining your bajji, you want to drain it on a wire rack, not on paper towels, because you don't want them sitting in their own fat that they just finished frying in. You want them to get degreased as much as humanly possible. Now, I'm going to fry these for about 2 to 3 minutes on each side, or until they're crispy and golden brown. So here goes, giving them a flip. Strictly speaking, you should only have to flip them once. If you do flip them more often, that's fine, because sometimes you think, okay, I don't quite like this color. You can fine-tune it to your pleasing. You want to keep the temperature down at a medium-high heat, because if you get it too hot, what's going to end up happening is that the outside's going to get burned and the inside's going to be undercooked. So you want to play around with that temperature to your liking. And it looks like my guys are going to be a few more minutes, so I'll be back when we're ready to eat. Hey all, and I'm back. I have here in front of me a mixture of bajji, which are the round guys, nice, happy, batter-dipped, golden brown. And I also have some pakora just to show you what it looks like, so that you can see what it's supposed to look like in the end. All it is that it's the identical batter to what you would have used for bajji, but it's just with grated potato and maybe some carrots and onions if you feel like it, depending on what you have on hand. It's to just use up any leftover batter that you have at the end of your frying session. Just to review, you want to go on a medium-high heat. If you find that your stuff is sinking and then rising to the top immediately, you're at the right heat. If you find it sinking and staying at the bottom, you want to increase the heat, even if you go all the way up to high heat. Maybe your stove is a little bit different from what mine is, and we have to adjust for that. So definitely go by what it looks like rather than by hard and fast rules. The other thing you want to keep in mind is that you want to take it over to about a darkish golden brown, otherwise it's not going to get cooked all the way and it's going to taste kind of raw. And definitely experiment with different kinds of vegetables. This will work with most starchy types of vegetables, such as root vegetables or the sweet potatoes, those kinds of things work really well. What it doesn't work well with are those kinds that have a skin on them that are kind of slippery. For example, eggplant will work on the inside parts, but the outside will have that sort of uncoated texture going. It definitely will not work with bell peppers. It slides right off. It works horribly. And as you're experimenting out there, try different sauces with to dip it in. I like mine with a little bit of ketchup and salt, black pepper, some chilies, and I'm good to go from that point on. And have it in the middle of a Sunday afternoon when you have some time to fry and really enjoy yourself and sit back and relax. Hope you enjoyed the podcast, and email me with your comments and questions, and we'll answer them however we can. Thanks, guys. Bye.